I gotta say, one of the highlights of 2020 was watching Chris with a beer go through his spam comments. And just
I'm always on the hunt for like ridiculous comments, and we certainly had a few. Like on the second day of the road trip we did, somebody told me I was disrespectful for not enjoying the taste of
the bee larvae, right?
Bee larvae. We didn't like it. Natsuki was sick, and someone's like, "You're disrespectful to the Japanese for not liking hornet larvae." And I was
like, but the woman who sold it to
fucking
us.
planet are you on?
The woman who sold it to us was like, "I don't like this.
This is shit."
It's not like you said to her, "Oh, this looks fucking disgusting."
It was really weird. That sort of comment triggered me. That triggered me.
Right.
It was a trigger.
It was a trigger.
Wow, Chris.
As if that person commenting was like, "Well, I personally love bee larvae. How dare you?"
The hornet larvae.
My family's been producing bee larvae for generations, I'll have you know.
I'm a third generation bee larvae harvester.
Oh, it's like foreign folks who feel they need to defend Japan often come up a lot in my comments, and yeah.
But people like that, I find, usually have
been
never
there.
actually traveled to Japan, right?
Have never traveled outside of their country usually.
Yeah.
And
like it's got nothing to do with their culture. Like I would understand a little more if it was a Japanese person who was getting offended for Japanese culture, right? That makes sense. But usually it's like it's not.
It's just people being like woke, you know.
Yeah. Like I remember back when I was living in Thailand, like my mum tried to get Sydney to wear like this very traditional Thai dress. And Sydney was like, yeah, I don't know about that because like a lot of people can get offended because of like cultural appropriation and stuff like that. And my mum was like, what's cultural appropriation? And like having to explain the concept of cultural appropriation was just completely fucking impossible to like a Asian mum.
Right.
It just like did not compute that. Why would anyone get offended on behalf of me?
It's because before the word cultural appropriation came about, it was called cultural appreciation, you know? And now there's such a thin line between what is appreciation and what is appropriation.
Right, yeah. It's if you take too much, you know.
Right, it's like, is a white person wearing a kimono, is that appreciation or is that appropriation?
If someone started shagging sheep, I would be like, hold on, that's my thing. Come on,
how dare you appropriate?
come off it, you know. I think a lot of the time, like you said, it's the people themselves are like, yeah, but dude, we want you to experience our culture. Exactly. We want you to share it, right?
Exactly.
Like,
it's like fucking all these like people who were, you know, when Ghost of Tsushima came out, so many people were like, oh, this game is such cultural appropriation to, you know, the whole like samurai culture thing.
People said that?
Yeah.
Really?
When the game first came out, I saw there was this huge thing about it, and it was really funny because there was a guy who gathered a bunch of reviews, or like I guess like, you know, customer reviews of Japanese people who play the game, and they were like, nah, dude, it's cool.
It's epic.
Yeah.
White people, please go ahead, make a game about samurais. It's fucking cool.
If they're obviously respectful towards it, who doesn't want a fucking video game about where they like their history?
But there was this whole thing of like, oh, it's a Western company making a game about Japanese culture. And it's like, so if they can do it correctly, then what's the problem?
How dare Japanese people make bread? We started that. How dare they make our bread?
How dare white people cook rice? How dare they appropriate?
Sorry, I don't want to get like too like anti-woke, but you know what I mean. It just goes too far.
It's just dumb. I've seen, like, especially recently, just with the whole PC culture thing, it's just, no one can be culturally appreciative of things anymore without at least one person saying, how dare you, that's offensive.
Right, yeah.
I think because it's like people want brownie points on Twitter, right?
Yeah. Right.
And because there are legitimate cases of people just being straight up disrespectful to a culture.
Yeah.
I think some people see that and they're like, oh, if I do that next time, I'll get Twitter clout. I'll get followers, right? So the next opportunity that comes up, they're like immediately like on it. And then everyone's like, well, I mean, not really.
But that's the thing, right? It's like, you know bad intent when you see it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And just some people are just so clouded by that.
I mean, you'd think you'd know bad intent when you see it, but some people, it feels like
some people are good at bullshitting.
Intent is just lost in a lot of cases. And sometimes it's just hard, especially on Twitter. And like you said, some people are like chasing for this.
Oh yeah, because
some people are like actively looking for any example that they can see. And it's created a culture where, you know, sometimes you want to do something, or you want to post something on Twitter, but you don't know who is going to offend sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Chris, right? Yeah.